Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It is going to be my finale for my 20 in 2020 project pan. And let me tell you, this project was about as messy as my life is, meaning it was very messy. It was about as messy as my self-tan usually goes. This one, no exception. I went into this without a plan. I went into it way too ambitious. I had so many other projects I wanted to be a part of, and not only did I decide to take on, at one point I was trying to pan like somewhere between like 48 and 52 items, but at one point I thought it would be a good idea for this specific project to not only be a focus on 20 products, but also a rolling style project. So along the way, I've become very confused as to what I'm actually even working on in this project. And for this, if I said introduction, I totally meant finale. Maybe I said finale. For this finale, I'm going to be updating you guys on my progress or empties from the 20 original products that I started with, because like I said, I'm very confused about the products that entered or didn't enter or whatever throughout this project, throughout the course of 2020. This project has been about as messy as the year of 2020. So I'm ready to put this one to rest. We're just gonna be doing a rolling project 10 pan for 2021, and I couldn't be more happier. Now, of course, I will be participating in other projects, but I'm so excited for my year-long, just standard project to just be a rolling project 10 pan. So if you guys are interested in this finale, however it may end, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. If you love project panning, palettes, or just chit-chatting about makeup, I think you would have a lot of fun over here, and I would love if you would subscribe. Other than that, let's just jump in. I almost said join the family. Other than that, let's just jump into the finale. Okay, I adjusted my light slightly, so hopefully you're not getting like the bounce off from above my head. Today's drink of choice is yet again the Alani Breezeberry. I am truly obsessed with this flavor. Have you guys tried it? Do you guys like Alani Nu? I would love to know. It's definitely my favorite energy drink. Alright, now that I've had a sip, I'm going to reapply my lip. The lip I'm reapplying is the Dose of Colors Decay A Mauve Story Liquid Lipstick that I was trying to pan this year. And hint, hint, I don't think this use is going to be my final use. I was very unsuccessful in panning this, as I always am, liquid lipstick. Oh, at least I make myself laugh. My life motto is, if you can make yourself laugh, you'll always be laughing. Well, if you're a new subscriber, you probably just unsubscribed. Anyway, you guys, I want to start with the one product that I did end up decluttering from this project, because I have decided I am not gonna hate pan anymore, unless there's like, maybe there'll probably be an exception here, so I don't want to say never, ever. But I did decide to declutter the Benefit Cheekathon palette. I just don't reach for face palettes all that often, and that one was so bulky that I definitely had no intention of reaching for it. And about halfway through the year, I realized, even though I think that the blushes are beautiful in that palette, and it also came with the Hula bronzer, which I liked having in my collection, I was just never gonna reach for this because it was just annoying to pull out, to store, and to use. So I did declutter that. I had given myself the goal to hit pan and a blush in that, which is just clearly never going to happen because I panned one blush in my life, and I don't even know how I panned the one blush. It's the tiniest baby pan ever. So I did declutter that. Other than that, let's jump into the other products that I did finish off in this project. All right, we'll go in order that I would do my makeup. So let's start with primer. I actually finished up 3 primers in this project. I actually finished up so many primers this year. If you guys are new to my channel, hello, hi, I'm Steph. I absolutely have a thing for primers. I don't know, it's like so many people don't like primers, and I'm over here like, hello, give me all the primers. I want to try every single one. So I used a lot of primers this year, and thank goodness, because I bought a lot of primers as well. I finally finished up my little mini MAC strobe cream. I've had this in my collection for a very, very long time. I feel like I bought this in maybe like 2016 or 17. I swear, I don't remember who it was. I feel like it may have been Jaclyn Hill who made a comment about this being beautiful and making me look glowy, and I was like, oh yes, I definitely need this. And I just didn't love the consistency of this. I feel like I also bought this in the time where like people were putting highlighter all over their face to give them a glow, and that's not my jam. I like to have a healthy, luminous looking glow, but I don't like it to look like I rubbed donuts on my face. So, like all over my face, you know? So I did finish this up. I actually had one of you guys recommend that if I had like a glowy primer that I wasn't loving, to just mix it in with a lotion, and that's what I did with this. So I didn't even finish this like on my face. I mixed it in with the lotion and it gave me a nice body glow throughout the summer. So very excited to have that out of my collection. I also finished up the Kaja Dream Puff Radiant Primer. This was probably the worst primer I've ever tried. This was a, is it a mousse type of primer? Yeah, Radiant Mousse Primer. You guys, I don't know. I'm so scatterbrained today. I'm normally very everywhere, but today we're on another level. Okay, so this is the Dream Radiant Mousse Primer, and when you like hit the little button at the top here to make the product come out, it would like explode. Like the tiniest dollop of this would expand into such a large amount, but then you'd push on it and it was basically just air. So it didn't do anything in terms of making your makeup last longer. It wasn't hydrating, but it did offer like a glittery glow to the skin. The way that I ended up using this up was putting it all over my legs and arms this summer for a body glow. So this was more of like a, I'm not a body primer, but like a moussey body thing. Would not recommend. I don't even know if they still sell that. And then I also finished up the Ofra Rays of Light primer. As I was going through my box of empties to grab all this stuff out to talk about, I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even remember finishing this year. This year has felt like the longest year ever, as I'm sure many of us can attest to. I wasn't a huge fan of this one either. It was supposed to be a primer that was a little bit like bronzier or made you look a little bit tanner, and I just didn't feel like it did that, and I just really wasn't a big fan of this. I am kind of picky when it comes to primer too, so I was glad to finish that off. For foundations, I did not do well in the foundation category this year in terms of finishing up foundation. Now, I did try a lot of foundation this year, which is probably part of the reason, and honestly, I have worn like a full face of makeup to work quite often, even with the face masks. Like, I really don't care if halfway through the day half my face is worn off onto my mask. I just like playing with makeup. It's my favorite like time of the day when I get to sit down and do it. So I wasn't gonna let the face masks or 2020 get in the way of doing a full face. So I feel like I was using foundation, but I did not get through that many this year. Two that I was able to finish up in this project, I did finish up the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir. This has been discontinued. You can no longer buy this. This was a favorite foundation of mine for a couple of years, but I will say as I finished this one up, I just wasn't as big of a fan of it anymore, so I'm not necessarily mad that it's discontinued. Whereas when I first found out it was being discontinued, I was very upset. And then I also finished up the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. It looks like I still have a little bit left, but like I've scraped all that I can get out of this. And honestly, I'm not like a super serious panner where I feel like I have to cut things open and get truly every last drop out. So I finished up these two foundations. I also finished up two concealers. I did take the stoppers out of both of these, I believe. Maybe I didn't take the, no, I took the stopper out of that one. I don't think I did. No, I did not take the stopper out of the Josie Maran Vibrancy Concealer. If I don't love a concealer, I just don't bother taking the stopper out because it truly gets to be such a mess. I didn't really love the Smashbox 24-Hour Concealer either, but I did take the stopper out of this one. I've scraped at the sides of both of these, and I really was getting no product out of both of these when I was reaching for them at the end, so I did finish those two off. I also finished off an eyeliner. I finished off the Milk Makeup eyeliner in the shade Bonus, which was a really beautiful brown shade, and if I'm remembering correctly, yes, it had a little bit of like gold shimmer running through it. I personally love a dark brown liner in the waterline. I really like these Milk ones. They're super creamy and long wearing. I will say I went through this a lot quicker than I had anticipated. I have an Essence one that I paid $3 for that's in my waterline today that I've been trying to pan for like 2 years and still haven't finished it. So while I wouldn't say I won't ever purchase the Milk Makeup liners again, because I do really like that creamy formula sometimes, I just feel like you can just buy the Essence one and it's gonna last you literally 10 times longer than the Milk one. Still think this is a good product and would recommend. It's just when you're comparing the two prices, it's just, yeah. I also finished up one bronzer. This was a, oh my gosh, there's a hair. This was a mini bronzer. This is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess Bronzer, and it feels like eons ago that I finished this up as well. I feel like last year I was again really successful in panning bronzer, and for some reason I wasn't as successful this year. I don't know if that's because last year I had already been really close to hitting pan on some bronzers and then I just finished them up, or if I like already had pan on them, whatever it may have been. But I feel like I finished up 4 powder bronzers this year, and I only finished up I think one this year, which is this one. So I'm hoping to finish up a couple more bronzers next year. I definitely feel like I'm close to hitting pan on a couple of them, but yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in my bronzer, like not usage, but the amount of bronzer I finished up this year. As we can tell, I love to be bronze. I also finished up this little mini Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fussy. Fussy has come in so many like sets that I've gotten and just things like that, and it's honestly probably my least favorite shade. I don't know what it is about the shade, but there's just so many other Fenty Gloss Bombs that I like so much better. So I wanted to finish this up because I still have a full size, and I feel like I also still have another mini in Fussy. So I was excited to finish this up, but I still have more Fussy in my life to finish up. And those were all of the products that I ended up finishing up in this project. I do have 4 products that I hit pan on but did not finish. I'll share those with you next. So up first we have my Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder, and I feel like I've heard this is a really easy product to finish off, and I don't know if I disagree or I just didn't reach for this one that much. I am not good at like contouring and bronzing. I just feel like it ends up looking like a complete muddy mess, so I get very nervous to contour. Often, like, I'd rather just bronze than contour. So I have not, admittedly, I have not reached for this that much, especially since I did hit pan on it. So I do have a good pan going on this, but this is probably 2 or 3 years old in my collection now, so this is something that I would like to finish off in 2021 if possible. Again, I just don't contour that often, but I am glad that I did hit pan on this at the very least. Next up we have my Lou Manizer from the Balm. Now I did only give myself a goal of hitting pan on this because, I mean, this was not brand new when I pulled this in, but like there wasn't that much wear on it, so I knew I couldn't finish up this entire pan of highlighter. Even if I had only used this highlight every single day the whole year, I don't think I could have finished off this entire highlighter. I do have a decent little pan there in the center. I use this a lot as an inner corner highlight. That's why I was able to hit pan on this. I still use this to highlight my cheeks as well, and I would love to see the pan really expand on this in 2021. I don't think I'll finish it in 2021, but was really happy to add another pan to my collection this year. And then speaking of pans and highlighters, I do have a massive pan on my Becca Rose Quartz. I was actually hopeful that I would finish this up this year. This is probably my favorite highlighter in my collection. I love this one. I love the Fenty Kilowatt in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal, and then I also love my Bobbi Brown Pink Glow. And then I've also come to love a lot of liquid and cream highlights this year, but I adore this shade, so I was really hopeful I could finish this up this year. I have another one in one of my Becca face palettes, but I wasn't able to get it done this year, so I am hoping that I could finish this one off next year. I don't think I've ever finished off a highlighter in powder form, whether it be full size, mini size, whatever, so it would be really exciting to actually just finish this next year. That will be the goal. And then I was so certain I could finish off a ColourPop Super Shock shadow this year, but alas, I did not. I only hit pan on it. And you should be able to see that, like, it's pretty shallow throughout the entire shadow. Like, I've used so much of this. I feel like I reach for this so often. I feel like because people say that these are so easy to pan, in my head I thought like, oh, this will be so easy to finish. And while you can hit pan on ColourPop Super Shocks pretty quickly, I don't feel like you can use them up very quickly. This is a very wearable shade. Here, I'll swatch it. Let me take my little arm things off. It's not like I'm gonna go run a marathon. I don't necessarily have to have this on. This is a very wearable shade. Like, I honestly can top this on, well, obviously you can do whatever you want with makeup, but I could top this on any neutral look. Maybe I'll top it on today's eye look. But I wore this a ton, and I really thought I was going to finish this year, but I did not. So then the 4 final things that I did not reach my goal on. First, we have this Urban Decay lip liner. This was in collaboration with Gwen Stefani, and it's in the shade Ex-Girlfriend. This is like my perfect lip liner shade. I love that it's like a mid-toned, cool-toned shade. So beautiful. I use this all over the lips. I use this to line my lips, whatever it may be. I will say I did lose this for a few months, and then it was literally just sitting right in front of me on my desk. So embarrassing. So I did lose a little bit of time with this product. I will insert like tally marks so you guys can see my progress. I used a lot of this, but I thought I could finish this up, and I feel like I still probably have about half the pencil left. I don't necessarily know when the product ends, but yeah, I really didn't even come close to my goal. I would actually like to potentially just add a little bit of this to my lips. I thought I was gonna have a lot more luck with foundation. Like I said, I was expecting to finish more foundation this year. I did really well with the foundation category last year and using up a lot of foundations, so I put a lot in this project. One of them being the Dior Backstage Face and Body. I just don't absolutely love this foundation, so I wanted to finish this off and get it out of my collection. And when I started, I had quite a bit of this left. And as you can see, I did make good progress on it, but I probably only used about half the bottle. And I still have a good, just under half of this left to use. So I am really hoping I can finish this off next year. It's just not something I get super excited to reach for, but I feel like I've also committed so much to this at this point that I want to physically finish it rather than declutter it. Do you guys ever find yourself in that like conundrum where you don't want to declutter a product? Like, if you hadn't used as much of it, you would be happier decluttering it, which doesn't necessarily make that much sense because you definitely got more money's worth out of it the more you use a product, but because you've used so much, you'd rather just finish it. Do you guys get what I'm saying with that? Am I alone in that? Like I said in the intro, when I applied this to my lips, I was also working on the Dose of Colors Desi Katie liquid lipstick in a mauve story. This is a really beautiful Your Lips But Better shade on me. I really like this because it is opaque packaging. I really have no way of knowing where I am at with this, but I do still feel like I have quite a bit of this left. I would say I reached for this liquid lipstick more than any other liquid lipstick in my collection by a long shot, but I still feel like I have probably at least half of this left. I'm not even close to finishing this up. I tried to pan a Dose of Colors liquid lipstick last year as well in a different shade, and it didn't go well for me. I do love the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick formula as well. It's like one of the most comfortable on the market in my opinion, but I can't do it. And then finally, another thing I can't do is pan a blush. I was really thinking it would not be a problem for me to finish or at least hit pan on this Hourglass Mood Exposure mini blush. This has been going in multiple projects. I think this has already been in my 19 and 2019 project, like a year-long project. And I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see at all, but like, so much of the dome has worn away. Like, I have to be so close to pan on this. Even some of the where the baked holes are, I'm like, is that pan or is that not pan? I don't know. I really thought I was gonna hit pan on this. This is one of my favorite blushes. Now, I did bring an absurd amount of blush into my collection this year, like out of control. I'm not sure if my makeup inventory will be posted yet, but if it is, I'll link it below and you can see how absurd my amount of blush, or the size of my blush collection is. Yeah, I did not reach for this as much as I had anticipated I would this year, and therefore I unfortunately didn't hit pan on this. I have to hit pan on this next year. It's still one of my favorite blushes in my collection. I'm so close. Like, I have to do it. I have to, but it didn't happen this year. As many things didn't happen in the year of 2020. After that, that is going to conclude and wrap up my 20 and 2020 project. Keep an eye out for my introduction to my rolling project 10 pan for 2021. Thank you guys for supporting my project and supporting my channel and supporting Vlogmas and supporting me. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye.